Breathman.
Oseo.
Oseo.
Good greeting. Now we're going from Shungpura, the Indian pony, to a horse. Horse is regarded as a ancient Germanic name. Germanic is a French-Roman word. The Umana are the prehistoric people now called Germans. And that's where the word horse is derived from. Thomas Jefferson, even he really celebrated the Saxon Anglese ancestors as Hensecken Horsa, and he's included them on the Virginia state seal, like that. So he's got it almost right. Actually, it's Horsas. He's got an English inflection in there with Horsa. So that's where the word comes from that we're using so much now as horse, like that. So that's why I want to say a little bit of it. From my youngest time in life, I had to do with horses. My grandmother had been a veterinary assistant in the country, which means, for the most part, in those days, horses. She passed over in 1978. My mother said she was 100. I lived mostly with her. I learned a lot about horses, or what she could tell me about horses. I myself am an artist from birth, and so that's how I started. I started by drawing horses. So I would say the horses are my really teachers that way. And I just loved horses. I just, everything, lived and breathed horses. I even had a little preteen job, in a place that stabled horses, the barns, and all of that, So I had a lot of horses. By the time I was 15, I was really, my dad had a friend from Agriculture College of Davis, and I got to work up in Red Bluff near Chico in a kind of a roundup, so I was spending, the summer sitting on a horse, can you say from sunup to sundown kind of thing. And it was really cutting out the calves from the mothers to bring them for branding and gilding. That was that kind of thing. Saddle sore is no joke. It really an awful experience like that. And the saddle I was sitting on had the back of it laced, and those laces tattooed my butt for a long time. I used to have a bumper sticker on my truck here I got out in Pine Valley. It said, "Horse lovers are stable people." I think that's pretty true. So I had a lot to do with horses like that. But my main interest has all along been through art, and I've done paintings of horses and so forth. So all that's a kind of introduction, for this to celebrate the horse. Claudia's song, the Indian calls the horse the great dog of the sun, is very, very accurate. And I've dressed up this horse here, to be bearing in a beaded form the sun there. And this piece I'm going to read here is actually from the Navajo. Oh, by the way, this painting is something I collected. This is not my painting here. But I like the spiritual aspect of it. And I should say something about that. I regard that people, humans, that have a clairvoyant facility, most likely have the horse as their spiritual guide, like that. Or you could put it the other way around. Horses, lend themselves very well to spiritualities, especially in the area of clairvoyance. I learned from my grandmother that horses have an unusual dimension, and there are people who really can tune into what the horses say. So it's really wonderful. It's very, very disturbing thinking about people killing horses, all like that. That's really hard to get along with for anybody who knows horses. So let me do this little piece here. This is a Navajo piece. It starts toward me. The beautiful thing is starting toward me, I, being son of the sun. The white shell bead horse is starting toward me. From the center of the sun's home, it is starting toward me. It eats out of the white shell basket. The dark cloud's dew streams from it as it starts toward me. The pollen from the beautiful flowers streams from its mouth as it starts toward me. Soft goods of all sorts are attached to it as it starts toward me. Hard goods of all sorts are attached to it as it starts toward me. It shall continue to increase without fail as it starts toward me. It shall be beautiful in front of it as it starts toward me. It will be beautiful behind it as it starts toward me. Good and everlasting one am I as it starts toward me. Wow.